All right, welcome back. Today we are really getting under the hood of ATSC 3.0. And I'm not just talking about a better picture. We're going to break down the core architectural changes that make this a true next-generation broadcast platform. So let's dive right in.
Now, just to set the stage, this is part 3 of our big 10-part tutorial on ATSC 1.0 versus 3.0. And everything we're about to cover comes directly from Chapter 3 of a really comprehensive report by Virtualization Options LLC. So you know we're getting this straight from the source to really understand the tech.
So here's the plan for today. First, we'll talk about the big picture change, why this is such a huge deal. Then we'll get into the two massive technical pillars, how the signal actually travels through the air, and how it's built to talk to the internet. After that, we'll look at the real-world results of those changes. And finally, how this all comes together to create a brand new platform for the future.
Okay, first things first. Let's be really clear about this. The jump from the old standard, ATSC 1.0, to 3.0, well, it isn't just a small step up. We're talking about a complete and total redesign of how television broadcasting works, right from the ground up.
You know, this quote from the report really just nails it. The two phrases to pull out of that are fundamental shift and flexible IP-based platform. See, the old system was rigid. It was locked in. This new one is built from the start for a world where your TV broadcast and the internet can finally and seamlessly work together.
So, what's the first huge piece of that shift? Well, it starts at the most basic level you can imagine, the physical signal itself. We're moving to a completely different way of sending that signal, a technology called OFDM.
Okay, so what in the world does that mean? Well, think of it this way. The old ATSC 1.0 was like a giant single-lane highway. If there was one little accident, some interference, the whole thing grinds to a halt. But ATSC 3.0's OFDM, that's like a highway with thousands of tiny little lanes. If one or two of them get blocked, who cares? The traffic just keeps flowing smoothly on all the others. It is just so much more resilient by its very nature.
And that resilience, it translates into some incredible real-world benefits. I mean, just look at this chart. Mobile reception with the old standard, forget about it. It just wasn't practical. Now, it's designed to work at speeds up to 120 miles per hour. Indoor reception used to be a real struggle. Now, it's robust, and it natively supports something called single-frequency networks, or SFNs, which is an absolute game-changer for blanketing a huge area with a strong, consistent signal.
All right, onto the second major pillar. This is huge. It's not just about how the signal travels, but what the signal is made of. ATSC 3.0 completely embraces Internet Protocol, or IP. It literally makes IP the native language of broadcast television. So what does that actually mean for you and me? It means that the little packets of data flying through the air from a broadcast tower are structured in the exact same way as the data packets flying through your home Wi-Fi from Netflix. And that one simple fact, that's the magic that creates a seamless bridge between over-the-air TV and your home internet connection. And when you build that bridge, you unlock all sorts of new possibilities. All of a sudden, your regular broadcast TV can act like a streaming service with apps and cool user experiences. This opens the door to things like personalized content, interactive features like voting in a poll, choosing your own camera angle, and even two-way communication where your TV can send data back over the internet.
Okay, so we've got the two big architectural changes, OFDM for a stronger signal and IP for a smarter signal. But what does that all add up to? What do you actually get from all this? Let's look at the real, measurable performance gains for everybody.
First up, reach. Because that signal is so much more robust, broadcasters can expect their service area to grow by about 10 to 15%. I mean, that's huge. It means a stronger, more reliable signal for more people, plain and simple.
Next up is mobility. And this number, this is just incredible. You get reliable reception at speeds up to 120 miles per hour. This completely changes television from something that's just stuck in your living room to something you can have in your car, on a train, pretty much anywhere you're on the move.
And finally, we have capacity, how much stuff you can cram into the signal. The old standard was stuck at a fixed 19.39 megabits per second. That was it. ATSC 3.0 is flexible, usually delivering somewhere between 25 and 45, and more data means more room for everything. Beautiful 4K video, HDR, multiple channels, and other data services, all in the same slice of airwaves.
So let's put it all together. We have a stronger, more flexible, higher capacity pipe going directly to the viewer. This technical foundation isn't just about making the picture look a little better. It's a launchpad, a platform for entirely new services and new ways of doing business.
So think about this new architecture as the foundation of a new building.
The first floor, the obvious one, is that enhanced video, your 4K, your HDR, but from there, you can build up. You can add a floor for interactive apps, another for datacasting services for things like public safety or remote learning, and even new floors for business models like targeted ads or premium subscription channels over the air.
And that's the real bottom line here. This technology fundamentally changes the economic potential of broadcasting. For decades, the entire model was basically built on spot advertising. Now, for the first time, the architecture itself supports a whole portfolio of different ways to make money.
But, and this is a big but, as this powerful statement from the report says so clearly, having the technology and actually using it to its full potential are two very different things. The entire industry is facing a choice. Do they treat this as just a simple upgrade for better HD? Or do they truly embrace the transformation and secure their relevance for decades to come? And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The architectural foundation we've just gone through is incredibly powerful, no doubt about it. It provides all the tools, all the capabilities needed for innovation. But the real challenge from here on out isn't just technical, it's strategic. How does the industry take this amazing platform and actually build the successful businesses of tomorrow on top of it? That's the question that's going to shape the entire future of television.